This question asks you to identify the true statements about the base estimator class in Sklearn, a popular Python library for machine learning. I'll help you understand what base estimator is and what it does. It's like asking you to be a Sklearn detective. This statement is about the role of base estimator . I see this as defining a standard way for all estimators to look and act. Think of it as establishing a consistent blueprint. All estimators built following these standards will maintain compatibility across different algorithms and models. That's pretty neat. This statement focuses on the methods get_params and set_params . These methods are crucial for managing the hyperparameters, settings, of a model. Get_params lets you see the current model settings, while set_params allows you to change them. Because they're inherited from base estimator . Every class extending it, a subclass, automatically gains this functionality. It is as if base estimator gives these methods as a gift to its children. This statement is about whether base estimator itself directly handles fit predict and transform . I want to tell you that these are not directly implemented by base estimator . They're implemented by specific types of estimators, like classifiers or regressors, which inherit from base estimator . Base estimator only provides the structure for them. Think of it as a template or a framework, providing the foundation for different specific functions, rather than defining the functions themselves. This statement checks if you can use base estimator directly. The answer is no. Base estimator itself is not designed for prediction or transformation. It's an abstract class. You need to use its more specific subclasses, like linear regression or standard scalar that build upon base estimator s structure to do the actual work. It's like a toolbox without any tools inside. You need to add tools first. This is the question that sets the stage for the whole quiz, so it's essential to understand that it's testing the knowledge of base estimator its purpose, and what functionalities it provides. I'll help you understand the core concepts which are crucial for solving this multiple-choice question. I'll be with you, step by step. This is the context of the entire question, meaning it focuses on the base estimator in the Sklearn library. This is the core concept that you need to keep in mind to understand and answer the multiple-choice question. Let's tackle this head-on. These are your choices which you need to check. I'll help you check each one of them against what you've learned about base estimator . You are doing great. I see this as the topic of our quiz. We'll be focusing on understanding what the base estimator class in the Sklearn library actually does. It's a foundational element that deserves our careful attention. This is the main quiz question. I'm going to help you analyze each statement about base estimator to determine which ones are correct. Get ready. This simply marks the question part for better reading comprehension of the text and helps me to separate it clearly from the answer choices. These are the multiple-choice options we need to evaluate based on our understanding of the base estimator class. Let's go through them one by one. This statement claims that base estimator directly provides the fit predict and transform methods. I would say that is incorrect. These are actually implemented in subclasses of base estimator . Think of base estimator as a blueprint. The subclasses are the actual houses built from that blueprint. This is correct. The get_params and set_params methods are part of the base estimator class and are inherited by subclasses. They are essential for managing the hyperparameters, settings that control the model's behavior, of Sklearn estimators. This statement is true. Base estimator sets a standard structure that ensures that every Sklearn estimator works in a consistent and predictable way, simplifying development and making everything easy to use together. This statement is false. Base estimator is an abstract base class, which means you can't directly use it for calculations. You need concrete subclasses that build upon its framework to achieve a specific task like prediction or transformation. This is the core class in Sklearn. Think of it as the blueprint for all the other estimators, like regression models or classifiers. It sets up a standard structure, making sure every estimator has consistent ways to set and get parameters. This statement is true. Base estimator ensures all scikit-learn models have a consistent method for interacting with them. This consistency makes the whole library much easier to use. This is false. Base estimator only defines what these methods should do, not how to do it. The actual implementation of fit predict and transform happens in the specific models you use, like linear regression or decision tree classifier Absolutely true! Every model that inherits from base estimator automatically gets these methods. They're super useful for setting and getting the settings, parameters, for your model. This is false. You can't directly use base estimator to make predictions. It's an abstract base class. Think of it like a template. You need a concrete class, like linear regression to actually do the work. I see that you're exploring Sklearn's base estimator class. It's a fundamental building block in this popular machine learning library. It's like a blueprint, providing a common structure for all the different types of estimators, things that estimate or predict. It establishes a standard interface which makes everything work smoothly together. This question is designed to test your understanding of how base estimator functions within Sklearn. You'll need to carefully consider each statement in the context of base estimator s purpose and capabilities. It's a bit like a multiple choice quiz on a core concept in Sklearn. This statement is correct. Base estimator ensures that all estimators, like classifiers, regressors, etc., share a consistent design, simplifying their use and interaction. Think of it as unifying them under one architectural umbrella. This is incorrect. Base estimator doesn't actually do the fitting, predicting, or transforming. It only defines the interface for those methods. The specific implementations are done in its subclasses, like linear regression or standard scalar It's like a blueprint specifying that a house needs to have rooms but not building the actual rooms itself. This is correct. Base estimator provides get underscore params and set underscore params methods, which are inherited by its subclasses. These are vital for managing the hyperparameters, settings, of the estimators, making them very configurable. I think of this like adjusting the knobs and dials on your machine learning model. This is incorrect. You can't directly use base estimator for prediction or transformation. It's just a base class. You need to use a specific subclass which implements the needed functionality. It's like a recipe book providing the general framework for baking, but you can't bake just by reading it. You need a specific cake recipe. I'll explain the role of base estimator in Sklearn. It's like a blueprint for all the other estimators, like those used for regression, classification, or data transformation. It doesn't do any of the actual machine learning work itself, but it provides a standard structure and common methods that every Sklearn estimator should follow. Think of it as the base class for all the other fancy estimators. This question tests your understanding of base estimator You'll decide which statements about its functionality are correct. This will help you understand how it relates to other parts of the Sklearn library. This is absolutely true. Base estimator ensures that all Sklearn estimators have a similar structure, making them easier to use and integrate together. It's like a common language for all the estimators to speak. This statement is false. Base estimator itself doesn't do any of the actual machine learning tasks like fitting a model, fit making predictions, predict or transforming data, transform Those are defined and implemented in the specific estimators that inherit from base estimator Think of it like this. base estimator is the template, while the specific methods are the actual content. That's correct. Base estimator includes the crucial get underscore params and set underscore params methods. These allow you to easily access and modify the settings, hyperparameters, of any estimator that inherits from base estimator . No, this isn't possible. Base estimator is a base class. You can't use it directly for prediction or transformation. You need to use one of its subclasses, such as linear regression or standard scalar which actually implement the necessary methods. I've shown you why statements A and C are correct and what those specific methods do. Remember that base estimator provides a common interface and methods for parameter management, but it doesn't handle the core machine learning tasks itself. Well done, now you are a base estimator ninja. I see this as the title, introducing the topic of the quiz about Sklearn's base estimator class, a fundamental class in the Python library for machine learning. This is the quiz question itself. We need to determine which statements correctly describe base estimator . It's a multiple choice question where more than one answer might be correct. This simply confirms the question's format, a multiple choice question. This statement is about the purpose of base estimator . I say it's true because base estimator sets a standard structure, ensuring consistency across all scikit-learn estimators, models. Think of it as a blueprint. All estimators are built to follow the same basic design. Here we're talking about the methods the base estimator class provides. I'd say this is incorrect. Base estimator itself doesn't have these methods fully implemented. They are defined in subclasses like linear regression or standard scalar . It's the base class, providing the framework, but specific implementations come from its kids. This talks about what its kids inherit. I believe this is correct. The get underscore params and set underscore params methods are essential for handling hyperparameters, the knobs and dials that control the learning process of the models, and those methods are provided by the base estimator class and inherited by its subclasses. This considers whether you can directly use base estimator . I find this false. Base estimator is abstract. You can't directly use it for predictions. You need its more specialized versions, subclasses. Think of it as a template. You need to fill it out to get something useful.